right behind the pace car right now. Inside second row is Larson and Reddick next to him. Those are the top 4.
Aaron Keselowski might be out of gas. He's going to stay on the racetrack. No, Keselowski has to dive to pit road. Kyle Larson gets to move up to the front row. He'll restart on the inside of Ryan Blaney. They will hit the Geico restart zone. Kyle Larson with a big jump. He's on the inside of Ryan Blaney as they head to 1.
Larson shot out of a cannon trying to get to turn number 1 first. Oh, and we got a big crash. It looks like John Hunter Nemechek, Denny Hamlin, Daniel Hemrick, Alex Bowman. It was Nemechek who got clipped. He hammered the inside wall, came back across the racetrack and wiped out 4 or 5 cars. A big mess down here in turn number 1.
9th yellow flag of the day takes out about 4 different cars, and it looks like Denny Hamlin was right in the middle of that.
Oh, he is done for the day. The hood is wrinkled up on that race car, even though it's driving. John Hunter Nemechek, the way he backed into the wall, his car was literally bouncing on the outside safer barrier. Alex Bowman, after a couple of good weeks, his day is going to end early. Daniel Hemrick, who had been running up in the top 4 toward the end of this race, his day is going to end early. That's going to have some major implications, but right now, Kyle Larson is being shown as the race leader. Ryan Blaney, actually, it looks like he's going to go back around Kyle Larson, and we'll get the timing and scoring right on this. Tyler Reddick and Todd Gilliland trying to decide who actually is going to be in the top 3 as well in the way this one went. But this restart was a pretty intense one. As they headed into 1, it just looks like either John Hunter Nemechek got tagged in the back by Daniel Hemrick or almost turned in too soon, Jeff.
No, that's what it looked like. He got hit in the back end. It turned him around and turned him up in front of everybody else. I mean, it was just, you watch right here, boom. And all of a sudden the 11 gets taken up, and along with 2 or 3 other cars. It's pretty wild. But this is what Indy means to a lot of people.
John Hunter Nemechek, nasty crash for him. Also Daniel Hemrick and Alex Bowman. They hit a ton down there in turn 1. Let's go down to Rich Nye.
So Brad Keselowski, just before they took the green for that restart rather, came over the radio and said, "I'm out of gas." Just very frankly and bluntly, he dived onto pit road. They came down here, so that with the caution, that gave him a chance to take 4 tires and completely fill up with fuel, just in case we get several overtimes here. Obviously, he's lost all that track position, but he's got fresh tires and plenty of fuel.
NASCAR is red flagging this race. They do have a lot of cleanup going into turn 1. This is a good thing for Ryan Blaney because they're going to sit here during this during this red flag with the engine shut off. So once again, Kyle Larson now being shown back out front with Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Todd Gilliland, Christopher Bell, your top 5 right now. Let's go back down to pit road with Rob Blackman.
Well, Rich and I talking about Keselowski being blunt over the radio. Ryan Blaney quite blunt as well, with a whole lot of profanities. He is extremely upset about this way this is now shaking out. As a matter of fact, most of the words I can't repeat here over the radio, obviously, but I can tell you this much. He said they just gave the race to Kyle.
Well, thanks for your discretion there, Rob Blackman. That's a radio pro for you. And, yeah, if you've ever listened to Blaney's in-car, it can get a little salty, as with most of these drivers.
Colorful metaphors.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's a nice Star Trek reference, Brad. Way to go.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kyle Larson right now has inherited the lead. Blaney he's got to have a minuscule amount of gas left. So you're right, Brad. You pointed out the fact that it was a godsend here for Blaney that they actually red flagged it. They got a ton of cleanup, but he's not burning fuel while they're just riding around.
Jeff Hammond, what are your concerns, however, after you've run 160 laps, 161 laps in this race? You know you're barely running on fumes almost, and this car is shut off right now.
Again, if the pumps are working, if there's any fuel inside there and I get pressure, it's going to be fine as far as firing it up. And if they've been monitoring, which I believe they have been, otherwise, they would have done a couple of things probably more different. I think that these guys up front have got enough fuel to get it done. The main thing is going to make the difference is how they choose. We know that Larson's going to go to the inside, and along with since he's in charge. So where does Blaney do? He's got to go to the outside, but maybe not. And if that's the case, it moves Tyler Reddick up to the front. That choose line may determine who winds up winning this race.
I'm also looking here with Kyle Larson being shown the leader. If we think Blaney can make it, And it's going to be very, very close for him to make it on fuel. Then you've got Tyler Reddick, who's sitting there, and Reddick's in pretty good spot. He pitted on lap 124. He should be fine. Todd Gilliland's had a pretty racy car.